Within the first 5 minutes of playing Ghost of Yōtei Legends, I was already annoying my friends by throwing an infinite number of smoke bombs all over the lobby. Apparently, the lobby gives you unlimited resources, so you can basically spam abilities. So instead of preparing for our first mission, I was just running around filling the entire lobby with smoke while my friends were yelling at me to stop. We probably spent a good 5 minutes just messing around like that before we even started playing. But after spending several hours with Ghost of Yōtei Legends, I realized something. This mode is actually really good. And honestly, it surprised me. In my last video, I asked a pretty simple question. Is Ghost of Yōtei actually good? After finishing the game, my answer ended up being yes. It is actually really good. But at the end of the video, I mentioned something that I was even more curious about. Ghost of Yōtei Legends, the multiplayer mode. So when Legends finally dropped, I jumped into it with my brother Deepak and my friend Leon. And after spending several hours playing it, I have to say, it's actually a lot of fun. But there are also a few design decisions that really surprised us. When you first start Ghost of Yōtei Legends, the first thing you do is choose a class. There are 4 classes in the game. The Samurai, the frontline fighter and tank, the Shinobi, the stealth assassin who focuses on sneaking around and eliminating enemies quietly, the Mercenary, which is more of a versatile class that blends offense, defense, and utility, and the Archer, who focuses on long-range damage and supporting the team from a distance. For our squad, I decided to play Shinobi. My brother played Samurai, and Leon chose Mercenary. So naturally, the first thing we wanted to do was jump straight into the campaign missions together. But that's where we ran into our first surprise. The story mode in Legends is primarily designed as a 2-player experience. The campaign consists of 12 story missions, and after every 3 missions, you unlock something called an incursion. Incursions are larger 4-player missions where you storm the strongholds controlled by the Yōtei 6. So right away we realized something. Because the story missions only allowed 2 players, the 3 of us couldn't actually start the campaign together, which meant we had to start with a different mode first. So instead, we jumped into survival mode. The mode is pretty straightforward. You defend different areas of the map while fighting off waves of enemies. As the rounds go on, the enemies get stronger, and eventually you fight one of these supernatural bosses tied to the Yōtei 6. It's definitely fun and a good way to level up your character and get better gear, but at first, it was a bit of a letdown because we were all excited to play the campaign together. I still don't fully understand why the story missions are limited to 2 players. It feels like something that easily could have been 4-player co-op, but once we started unlocking more content, the game started to open up a lot more. The story of Legends takes place in a supernatural version of the Ghost of Yōtei world. You play as warriors who died seeking revenge, and now in the spirit realm, you've been given a second chance to finish what you started. Your mission is to hunt down the Yōtei 6, a group of powerful enemies who have cast supernatural curses across the land. Each villain affects the world in different ways. For example, one of them traps the land in endless winter. Because of that curse, the missions introduce unique mechanics tied to the environment. Sometimes you gain temporary powers, sometimes the map itself changes how you move around. One of my favorite mechanics appears in these missions where you gain the ability to teleport across the map and perform instant assassinations. That ability is just badass. Moments like that help keep the missions feeling fresh. After completing 3 story missions, you unlock Incursion. These are larger 4-player missions where you storm one of the strongholds controlled by the Yōtei 6. This is where the game really starts to shine. The missions are longer, more chaotic, and require a lot more teamwork. And most importantly, this is where all 3 of us could finally play together. Fighting through large groups of enemies with your friends, coordinating abilities, and deciding whether to approach encounters with stealth or just go full chaos is a lot of fun. At the end of the mission, you face a demonic version of one of the Yōtei 6. These bosses are much stronger than the enemies you fight during the mission, and usually require the whole team working together to defeat them. So it really feels like a big payoff after fighting through the entire stronghold. Each class also has abilities that help support the team. For example, as a Shinobi, I can activate an ability that briefly makes myself and nearby teammates invisible, which is incredibly useful if your team gets surrounded. You can disappear, reposition, and start assassinating enemies before they even realize what's happening. Moments like that really help make teamwork feel important. Another thing I really liked about Legends is the progression system. Every piece of gear has something called a key level, which represents how strong your character is. Your key level determines what difficulty you should be playing on. The game currently has 4 difficulty tiers: Bronze, Silver, Gold, and Platinum. As your power increases, you can challenge higher difficulties that introduce stronger enemies and require better teamwork. As you complete missions in game modes, you also earn currency rewards. You can spend this currency to upgrade your gear or unlock new perks for your character. The gear itself can also have different combat effects. Some weapons increase stagger damage, while others give you a chance to burn enemies on hit. And if you end up with weapons you don't need anymore, you can salvage them for additional resources, which you can then use to upgrade better gear. You can also activate extra mission challenges. These challenges make missions harder but give you additional rewards. For example, enemies might deal increased damage, get stat buffs, or even ambush your team at the very start of the mission. One thing I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did was the lobby area. Instead of just being a menu where you queue for missions, the game actually gives you things to do while you're waiting. For example, they brought back the famous coin-flicking game Zeni Hachiki from the main story of Yōtei. There's also a bamboo strike minigame where you compete to see who can cut the most bamboo. They even added a training ground where you can test abilities and practice combat. But honestly, some of the funniest moments we had were just messing around in the lobby. Because the lobby gives you infinite resources, you can basically spam abilities, which is how I ended up throwing an infinite number of smoke bombs everywhere just to annoy my friends. Instead of preparing for the mission, we were just laughing while the entire lobby filled with smoke. It's a small thing, but moments like that make the game feel really fun and social when you're playing with friends. Oh, and there's even a little firefox you can pet, which might be the most important feature in the entire game. And the best part is we have more content coming to Ghost of Yōtei Legends. Next month, they're going to release a new game mode called Raid, where you face the final 2 members of the Yōtei 6, the Dragon and Lord Saito. Apparently the raid mode is going to be very difficult, and you absolutely need 4 players in order to complete these missions. I am super excited about this new mode, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what it ends up being. So after spending several hours playing Ghost of Yōtei Legends, what do I think? At first, it was a little frustrating not being able to play campaign with everyone. Locking most of the story missions to 2 players definitely feels like a strange decision, but once we started unlocking incursions, experimenting with builds, and playing all the different modes, the game really started to click. The combat is great, the cosmetics look awesome, and the progression systems keep you coming back. And overall, I'd say Ghost of Yōtei Legends is a pretty good multiplayer mode. I can't wait for the raid mode to drop. But what do y'all think? Do you like the new Legends mode? Are you annoyed about the 2-player story missions as much as I am? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the Questionable group chat. And with that, I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace.